You're watching Cable 2.
And welcome to the May 28, 2024 Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools Board of Education meeting. I am Deanna Kaplan, Board Chair. I appreciate your attendance. I also say good evening to our viewers on Cable 2. Will you please rise as we start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing as you are able for a moment of silence given by Board Member Susan Miller. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a moment of silence to honor the brave men and women who served our country and who gave their lives to preserve our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you. Our first order of business is the agenda review. Do I have a motion to amend the agenda to go back into closed after our open session to discuss a personnel matter? Okay, so I have a motion by Board Member Barr.
Second.
Second by Board Member Brown Gaither. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, thanks. That's unanimous. Our next order of business is our student performance. Please welcome the Atkins High School trombones.
job. I love both of them. You know, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Good job. Good job. Let's come back here. Great job. It's warm, isn't it? So what now? Yeah, warm. I am. See, I'm kind of chilly. I am because I don't like air like this. Okay. You're right. Oh, yeah, your hands off.
Once again, that was incredible. Set just the perfect tone. Thank you. Literally the perfect tone. So we're moving on to special recognitions, and I just want to say we have an incredibly packed house tonight. If your student is receiving an award, after they have received an award, if you all could just make room for other parents and just kind of exit afterwards, that would be great. But we're just so glad you're here. So we really are. Melissa A. We are. So first, under special recognitions, Melissa A.G., our Director of K-12 English Learner Arts, will recognize the 2024 Poet Laureate, first place winner.
Good evening, Board Chair Kaplan, board members, and Superintendent McManus. Thank you for this opportunity to present to you tonight the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools 2024 District Poet Laureate. Each year, we partner with Forsyth Education Partnership to offer students the opportunity to write and perform original poetry. Each student competes at the school level, and 2 are chosen for the district competition. This year, we had 25 poets from 14 different high schools compete in this competition. Time and time again, we get to see the experience and the voice of our students through this poetry. Those poems, along with artwork from students in the district, are then published in a chapbook called Fresh Voices Rising. Tonight, I have the honor of presenting to you our Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools 2024 Poet Laureate winner, Miss Jamia Adams Smith from Mount Tabor High School. And as a special treat, Jamia will perform her poem, Ebony.
Can I have this mic a little taller? Taller.
Up or down?
Thank you. When Taraji P. Henson stood up to her oblivious white boss and the entirety of the establishment, to all them white people who worked for NASA, who segregated them coffee cups and gave her loads of paperwork, I might have shed a tear. I dreamed that being me, standing up for myself with no fear of being perceived as the angry black woman stereotype, the complete authenticity of me. I'm the black girl that can't be easily defined. My ancestors worked real hard to make sure I ain't the one slacking behind, so I have no choice but to grind. This conscientious worker has to eliminate biased beliefs from everyone's minds. They don't know how it feels to walk into a room, to automatically feel the expectations placed on you, to witness the questionable looks on your white classmates' faces, like my name on the roster must have been misplaced. It's real draining, real aggravating, to fear feeling a test around my people who don't even imagine you earning your diploma without graduating. Because when I get a 70 or below on the hardest test yet, it's not a matter of I failed. It's a matter of I failed every black person in a predominantly white class to come after me, and I failed at another chance at proving to the others that I am not a future ghetto baby mama with a limited vocabulary. Because when the hall monitor stays with me in the bathroom to make sure I don't vape, I wonder if she'd do the same if I was a white girl. When the white boys in my English class are so surprised at my taste of pop music, I wonder if they react the same if I was a white girl. And when my orchestra teacher is so surprised to find out that I take band, I wonder if she would react the same if I was a white girl. The worst thing, however, has been suppressing the illumination of my personality, not being able to be myself in my advanced classes because in that reality I supposedly have an extremely dope personality. You see, I have to impersonate so I don't intimidate. Silence has never been something I liked, but I've been using it to ensure I don't instill fright to the people in my classes because, you know, I'm not white, so I can't get too mad when people don't use the correct manners. Can let the fire out of my anger release like this, the Incredible Hulk movie, and my name is Bruce Banner. You see, I'm not saying I'm perfect or that I'm always right, but I know my worth means more than what they measure me by because my worth is constantly measured by a harmful stereotype. You see, this angry black woman with a 4.0 GPA has dreams consisting of running the courtroom, a dream that I will see to someday. And I don't need no one to undermine it or define it by my deeply melanated skin because I am here to ensure the success of my upcoming next of kin. I am here to ensure the success of my future children. As someone who's experienced more microaggression than she could possibly rhyme, the importance of defying stereotypes is a concept which lingers in my mind. We are all individuals that are beyond what meets the eye, but as a society, we have always shared the tendency to compartmentalize. Black people have been undermined and compromised as the years of the prejudice we face currently passes by. Witnessing these issues firsthand told me that these are issues we discuss in class, but outside of it aren't properly emphasized. We need to practice what we preach instead of slyly mentioning solutions in class that to our society should immediately be applied. I pray that one day people can overlook the quality of our appearances and for once maybe give our personalities a try. Because this Ebony is so tired of using her only bathroom pass as an excuse to make another constant overlooked cry. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamia. And I believe Mr. Wyatt is here as well from Mount Tabor. Thank you for coming to support Jamia.
Yep. And the parents, if the parents could stand.
And the parents. What about parents? Parents.
Oh, are your parents here? Yes. Parents,
Can the
please
parents
Sorry
stand?
about that.
Everything that I want to say. Oh, wait a minute, is everybody? Oh, my mic is on. You said what? Everything I want to say, but I can't. Because Robert doesn't believe that's what I want to say.
Next, Samantha Fitzgerald, the AP at Louisville Elementary and president of the Forsyth Assistant Principal Association, will lead us in celebrating the Forsyth Assistant Principals Association Scholarship Award recipients.
Good evening, Board Chair Kaplan, Superintendent McManus, and our fellow board members. I am Samantha Fitzgerald, and I am serving as the current president of the Forsyth Assistant Principals Association. And here I have Lisa with me, and she is serving from early and middle college. And tonight we are celebrating some amazing students. I am honored this evening to present scholarship awards to 15 of our outstanding seniors here in Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. This year, the Forsyth Assistant Principals Board raised over $16,000 to support our local high school seniors. Each year, we hold a bowling tournament that raises those funds that go directly to our seniors. the AP board was a little eager to give a little bit more money, so we took on a golf tournament. So your president and your assistant vice president here, who know nothing about golf, learned a lot this year. But it also went into earning so much more for our students, and we were able to award 15 seniors $800 each, which is double what we have in the past. We had so many applicants, and it was very hard as a board to select the winners, but I'm happy to present the students for our 24 school year, the FAPA scholarships, and they are Jemiah Reed from Winston-Salem Prep, Dayami Oliva Nicholas from Kennedy High School, Faith Johnson from Middle College of Forsyth, Ariana Ibarra Garcia from the Early College, Hunter Sipkins from Reagan High School, Nia Gary from West High School, Abigail Collins from Adkins High School, Adrian Jones from Reynolds High School, Yolami Abila from Parkland High School, Jaden Tyson from Walkertown High School, Tony Nolan from Carver High School, Jada Rowland from Glenn High School, Kalani Goggins from North Forsyth High School, Billy Mason from Mount Tabor High School, and Brandon Sutton from East Forsyth High School, who was not able to be with us this evening. If we have any family members or staff to support these students, please rise, because it all took a village to make this possible for our seniors. Congratulations, well done.
Just wrap around. We'll miss somebody. Congratulations. Wonderful here. Congratulations. Awesome. That's great. Congratulations. So proud of you. Middle college, early college. Yeah. Congratulations. You get $800. Congratulations. 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 I'm so excited for you to do wonderful here. So proud of you. Wonderful. We were trying to get a golf together, but we could never get together. We're gonna do it next year. Yeah. Alex, we're gonna do it next year. Okay, Alex, we're gonna do it next year. No, we'll golf. We're not gonna win.
I'm not gonna win it. I'm gonna win it.
Oh, I'm not gonna win at either one. Okay. I'm not good at either one. Okay.
Great, great honors. Next, Karen Meyer, the Director of Library and Media Services, will present the Battle of the Books District winners.
All right, good evening, Board. Superintendent McManus, it is always my pleasure to do Battle of the Books recognitions this year. So for those of you who may not be in the know, Battle of the Books is a quiz bowl competition sponsored by the North Carolina School Library Media Association. Students read from a list of books and answer questions in head-to-head competitions, collecting points for correct titles and authors. This year, we had 21 elementary schools, 10 middle schools, and 6 high schools that participated in this year's competitions in March. These students read books from lists, experiencing ones they loved and those that they disliked, which is okay. We all read books we don't like.
I know that's right.
They discovered enjoyment in genres that would never have chosen on their own. Additionally, they learned to collaborate as a team, engage in discussions about books, and support each other through both successes and setbacks. Tonight, we're going to recognize the first, second, and third place winners for each level of competition. We're actually going to start with high school. These aren't our high schoolers, obviously. But our high schoolers are a little shy. So in third place was Kennedy High, and she's here. She may or may not stand up, but their coach was Gina Casada O'Neill. Second place was Atkins High School with Coach Corinne Jenkins. And first place was Mount Tabor High School with coaches Judy Urick and Ruth Morton, and Judy's here. The high school students are busy, she said, and so they're all up into their exams and everything, and end of year, a lot of them are seniors. Anyhow, all right, so now we're going to elementary school. So in elementary school, in third place, we have Morgan Elementary School right here. Coaches Sarah Baldwin, Sarah Milder, and Stacy Self. In second place, and not here tonight, is Whitaker Elementary School with coaches Rachel Steinhelfer and Liz McCauley. And in first place, we have Meadowlark Elementary School with coaches Emily Cagle and Cheryl Bullard. So Meadowlark Elementary also took first place at the regional competition on May 4th. Yeah,
I love this little.
okay, they want you to go out. So if you will come this way, just go down.
Congratulations. Keep up the reading here. Keep up that reading. Thank you for being here. Congratulations. Keep up the reading here. Thank you for everything you do.
And also the parents, if they could stand as well.
Absolutely. Any parents of elementary school Battle of the Bookers?
I know. Keep on. Congratulations. Congratulations. I just love your excitement. Congratulations. Here? Thank you so much. Congratulations.
So for
Karen-
middle school,
Go ahead.
in third place, we have Jefferson Middle School with coaches Stephanie Turner and Adam Kelly. In second place, we have Paisley Middle School with coaches Amariki Summers and Nicole Cole. And in first place was Louisville Middle School for the second year in a row. Coaches Emily Dockery and Ruthie Evington. So to add to that with Louisville Middle School, On March 23rd, they also won the regional competition and then went on to win the state competition on May 3rd. Outstanding team. So again, if we could have the middle school parents that are here tonight, if they want to stand. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for supporting readers. All right, Stephanie.
Thank you for everything you do for kids. Thank you so much. Thank you. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you guys. Congratulations. Keep it up here. Congratulations. Congratulations, sweetheart. Keep it up. Y'all keep doing it here. Congratulations. Congratulations. Keep doing it. Y'all doing a great job, okay? Congratulations. Thank you so much for everything you do for our kids. Keep on doing it, okay? Come on with the level of the books. Congratulations. Thank you for staying here. Wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you so much for what you do for our kids. Congratulations. First place winners here. Okay, state and regional. You all did wonderful. Thank you all here. Congratulations. Congratulations, state and regional. Congratulations here. Congratulations. You keep it up. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Congratulations. Keep on staying with the Babylon books, okay? Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you for everything.
I hate this stuff. I don't know why. We gotta get some more. I just can't get it. I can't stand it. And it's so thick. I hate it. Well, you should have passed it down, 'cause that's what we want. I'm just kidding. Look at everybody. As everybody does this, everybody like, can I have something? Yeah.
Do you want some of this?
No, that's awful. Oh. Why is yours watery?
Okay. Yes, Karen? Yes, go ahead.
All right, so I am also up here for the Maya Angelou Essay Contest. And this is one of my favorite times of the year where we get to honor outstanding writers in our district. So this is our 4th year with the Dr. Maya Angelou Foundation, who sponsors this essay contest. Mr. Guy Johnson, Dr. Angelou's son, envisioned a contest that would encourage high school seniors to write personal narratives of when they have felt marginalized or stereotyped, and what the collective victory is for our community when these challenges are overcome. Through this contest, Mr. Johnson wanted students to experience the writing process, including multiple revisions and feedback from a trusted adult. The stories that are shared every year through these essays are powerful. Again, this is our 4th year. This year is no different. It is through these stories of heartbreak and triumph that we get a brief glimpse into the lived experiences of the students who walk the halls of our schools every day. Their personal challenges and triumphs are important for us to listen to, even when it breaks our hearts. The essays were scored and discussed by a panel of community judges, which included Ms. Thamaya Tutt, who is the CEO of the Dr. Maya Angelou Foundation. So we are very pleased to recognize our winners tonight. In 3rd place, with an award of $1,800, goes to Betsy Valadez Almedo from Glenn High School and Career Center. In 2nd place, with an award of $3,000, is Paris Carlton from East Forsyth High and Career Center. And let me get Betsy's family to stand up. I should have done that. Betsy's family. And then, thank you. She couldn't have done it without your support. And then is Paris's family here? Yay. Congratulations. All right, and in 1st place, and if family will stand up as well, with an award of $5,000 is Gabrielle Banqui from Reagan High School. I would also be remiss not to recognize the teachers who support these students in the writing process. Evan Moore, and I know he's here, if you'll stand up, at Career Center in his support for Paris and Betsy. And then Matthew Fossa at Reagan High School. I'm not sure he's here tonight, but Matthew Fossa at Reagan in his support for Gabrielle and their writing. So thank you so much. Congratulations, ladies.
I would like to make a request that we receive these essays in writing if possible, please.
We'll get
Thank you.
them tonight or tomorrow morning in your email box.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. It's just so awesome. Angela, you come back here. Next, Kim Forbes, the Executive Director of Career and Technical Education, will present the Camel City Game Jam from Atkins High School.
Good evening. I'm so excited to be able to present this recognition. I want to give you a little bit of a background on what the Camel City Game Jam is, and I'm going to apologize because I have worked and lived in Gate City too long and put that on the agenda in error. I know it's Camel City, but the Camel City Game Jam has been a year-long collaboration between Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools CTE, Atkins High School, and the Camel City Student Innovation that's brought together game design students from Forsyth County and the neighboring counties in a 24-hour game design competition. It started on Friday evening and it lasted until Sunday evening. It was a 3-day competition with these high school students, and I want to interject, from everything we can find, this is the first time this event has ever been done in a high school in the country. So we are innovators here. There were 5 awards, and Atkins High School was proud to take home the award for the artistic vision. Part of this competition, the students were given a topic on Friday evening they did not know until the Innovation Council for Winston-Salem Forsyth County voted on it. They came in on Friday, they learned what it was. They had no internet access. They couldn't go out and do any kind of research or pull anything in. They had to do everything with this game from scratch. Am I right? Yes. But I think without Mr. Gates, Jeff Gates, the instructor, Rogers, I know it is, Jeff Rogers and Monte Irvin, the magnet coordinator for Atkins, worked tirelessly on this event. It was amazing. They were able to raise $13,000 to put the event on. It was very expensive, but they were one of the first recipients for the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools Education Foundation grant. We're looking forward to them doing it again next year. We have more schools in our areas that are wanting to participate. We have 2 students here that are represented that won the award, and we just want to say you need to keep your eye on them because there's big things coming from them. We're excited. So we want to say congratulations to the Atkins team that won.
John Sullivan, our District Athletic Director, will celebrate and recognize the 2024 Track and Field State Champions.
Chair Kaplan, Ms. McManus, members of the board, thank you for having us this evening. We're here to recognize our spring season outdoor track and field state champions. Start with our 1A boys from Carver High School, Jaden Goss Hughes in 110-meter hurdles. Step forward, Jaden. Unable to attend this evening from Atkins High School's Agechi Azebo, the 100-meter hurdles, girls. 4A girls from Mount Tabor High School in the pole vault, Rachel Riley. Also from Mount Tabor, the 4x800 meter relay of Eliza Brand, Katie McFerrin, Rachel Riley, and Bronwyn Parks. Moving on to the 4A boys from Mount Tabor High School in the 110-meter hurdles, Rance Springs. And from 4A boys from Parkland High School, setting a new North Carolina high school state record with a time of 40.66 in the 4x100 meter relay, Jalen Baycott, Kobe Mack, Michael Walker, and Antoine Hughes Jr. If you are a parent, coach, or administrator here representing these young folks, thank you. Please stand and be recognized with them. You had everything to do with where they are. Thank you. Jake.
Brooke Bryan, the Director of Related and Deterrent Services, will present the resolution to recognize May as National Speech, Language, and Hearing Month.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Kaplan, Vice Chair Bohannon, Superintendent McManus, and members of the board. Thank you for having me again. I'm Brooke Bryan, Director of Related and Itinerant Services. And this evening, I want to recognize our speech language pathologists, audiologists, speech language pathology assistants, our new graduates and interns who meet the hearing, speech, language, and communication needs of the students of Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. We are home to 96 speech pathologists, 5 speech language pathology assistants, 2 audiologists, and 1 amazing audiology technician. Our team includes full-time, part-time, in-person, and virtual providers who serve approximately 4,000 students here in the district. The American Speech Language Hearing Association, who we refer to as ASHA, is our national professional scientific and credentialing association for audiologists, speech language pathologists, audiology, and speech language pathology assistants. Audiologists specialize in preventing and assessing hearing and balance disorders, as well as audiologic treatment, including hearing aids. Speech-language pathologists identify, assess, and treat speech, language, and swallowing disorders. For more than 50 years, May has been known as Better Speech and Hearing Month. But this year, ASHA adopted a new name, National Speech Language Hearing Month, which is more inclusive. But the important observance is still the same. National Speech Language Hearing Month is our opportunity to raise awareness about communication disorders and the role of ASHA members in providing life-altering treatment. ASHA's vision is making effective communication a human right, accessible and achievable for all. If you are a speech-language pathologist, speech-language pathology assistant, audiologist, or audiology technician, and you are joining us here tonight, if you're a clinical fellow or even an intern, please stand so that we can recognize you and applaud you for your hard work here in Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools.
Lastly is our board spotlight video.
Twice a month, East Forsyth High School students travel to Sedge Garden Elementary to read to their younger counterparts as a part of the Reading Buddies program.
See how nice it is, all the patterns?
Yeah. Our children just get really, really excited, and it's really funny because they call them their giants. They are their high school giants, and they love them.
Have you ever seen a spider web and wondered where the silk comes from?
Seeing them grow, especially some of these kids over here where I go to their classrooms a lot, it's really just a wonderful experience. I've interacted with these kids before. Seeing that they're able to remember me and remember my name, it just means the world.
It's an amazing feeling. It just, sometimes when us high schoolers are having a really bad day, it makes our day as well. I hope that people learn about this and that they take a chance at least once to go and see just how much it can brighten their day and the kids that they read to.
Thank you for your service and congratulations.
Dr. Noah Reginald Teague was awarded the Order of the Longleaf Pine, the highest honor in the state of North Carolina. Reggie Teague is a 33-year veteran WSFCS employee who retired as the Assistant Superintendent of Operations. WSFCS also honored him during a dedication ceremony by naming a new maintenance facility on Liberty Street after him.
He was in charge of much of the growth and development our district experienced from the 1970s into the 21st century. So it seems only appropriate that we now have a building bearing his name that was originally constructed for that very reason.
For those people that knew him, they knew that he was smart, they knew he was thoughtful, they knew he genuinely cared about students, parents, and staff. And I can tell you, he also knew how to take care of the taxpayers' dollars in school buildings. And he was on it.
All right, good morning. Good morning. We have some special guests that are with us today.
Bank of America employees visited third grade students at Kimberly Park Elementary to provide some positivity before their first ever end of grade test. That came in the form of these creative notes of encouragement that BOA made just for them.
And we wanted to say that this is your time to shine. And we want you to come in and do the best that you can do. And we are pulling for you. So it's not just you teachers. It's not just the superintendent. It's folks like us at Bank of America that are really pulling for you to do a great job.
There are lots of kids that you see that came in here today that are homeless. There are kids that are dealing with trauma. There are kids that are dealing with things that you could never imagine. But those personal interactions with people like you all are what give them the avenue to get out of that situation. And so for us, that's what it's all about. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because we can't do it. You can't do it without you all. So thank you.
Being a graduating senior in high school has its perks. One is the opportunity to visit elementary schools for a graduation walk through the halls. For the first time this year, all 15 WSFCS high schools participated in these grad walks. We caught up with the soon-to-be graduates of Walkertown High School for the special occasion as they returned to the place it all started for each of them, Walkertown Elementary School.
I think nostalgia is the best way to describe that feeling. Like seeing my old teachers and seeing all those little kids and like just remembering that I was their size and their age. And I remember doing a senior walk too, and it was, it made me so happy just to see that, and it made me realize that I actually am growing up, and it brought peace to my heart.
It's very special. I think it makes us a lot more connected, and it makes the graduation and everything like this much more special because we're all here together from the beginning.
And that's the Board of Education Spotlight for May 2024.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear public comments on the agenda items only. We expect civility. Please be kind, considerate, and respectful. Direct your comments only to me as board chair and not to anyone in the audience. You have 3 minutes to speak, and as always, if you have more to share, know you can email us directly. So our first speaker is Annie Vasquez.
Good evening. How is everyone?
Good evening.
Whoever made the decision to have all the kids go first, thank you. So instead of a packed house, I got a few. So my name is Annie Vasquez. I'm the substance use health educator for Forsyth County Behavioral Health Services, which is a really long title. I'm here to talk about the naloxone policy that you guys are going to speak of here shortly. I'm a parent. I have 4 children that go to Winston-Salem, Forsyth County. They range from elementary school to high school, so they're in all gamuts. I am also a person with lived experience, meaning that I am going to be opiate-free for 20 years next month. Thank you. But I started my opiate journey in high school. When I was 17, I started using heroin. I'm very lucky that I did not overdose at the school system. We did not have Narcan when I was in active addiction, so it's a very different just area. What I do know, and I can tell you from the stats that we have here in Forsyth County, by the way, all these stats I'm going to share are public knowledge through our website called Unseen Patterns in Forsyth County. If you haven't seen it, please go see it. I can tell you last year that there were 95 overdose calls in Forsyth County with children under the age of 18. The average age was 13.95. Over half of these, 56 of them, were over-the-counter drugs or prescription drugs. All of these things come from your own medicine cabinets, grandma's medicine cabinet, auntie, uncle, whoever you go to visit. Please lock your meds, everyone. And I can tell you an update for this year as well. I pulled the numbers from January to 3/30, so the first 3 months. We've already seen 22 overdose calls in children under 18 this year. The average age was 11.86. Over-the-counter and prescription drugs accounted for almost half of those, with 10. So we can see we have an issue within our schools. Not just our schools, but our community as a whole, and unfortunately it bleeds into the school systems. Having Narcan just prepares each school. We know right now that EMS time is 7 minutes out from the time you call 911. 7 minutes is a whole life if you have someone that is overdosing. I'm just asking for you guys to please pass this policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Rhonda Mays.
Good evening, Chairwoman Kaplan, Vice Chair Bohannon, the board, Superintendent McManus. I am coming to you tonight to stand in support of that policy that was just spoken of, the naloxone. That's a hard word to say. And if we think about it, you have first aid kits in our homes, in our churches, in places of worship. We have them in our school system, and we have them in the community. And during sports events, there's always a first aid kit someplace nearby. And I think it's important that this policy is passed for the mere fact that our schools in this county are places where not only our children are, but we have community events and people from the outside are here. So not only will this be helpful for children, even staff, if we have someone who may have an issue going on, but people who may be visitors in the schools district. So this policy would just be the same as having a first aid kit. We want to address an issue right away before it turns into something else. And in this case, it could mean the difference between life and death. Please pass this policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to discussion items. First, Dr. Heather Schwithrack, Director of the Psychological Services, and Dr. Frederica Stokes, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, will discuss the School Health Alliance update and contract.
Good evening, board members. Superintendent McManus, thank you again for the opportunity to present. And this evening I will be presenting on updated information regarding our MOU with School Health Alliance. School Health Alliance and the school system have been in collaboration since 1997. And some of the updates for this school year included expanding medical and mental health services to district staff. So the School Health Alliance board met and they have agreed to provide those services to all Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools employees. And you will see in a bit that we actually have had some employees take advantage of those services. We've also added some schools for the comprehensive centers at Moore Elementary, as well as the mobile unit locations. And behavioral health practitioners have also participated in our crisis response. Because we've had, unfortunately, a few staff members pass away this year, and School Health Alliance is able to meet with our adults, district staff, they have come out and helped support our crisis team to address any adult members of the community that may need assistance. So the comprehensive centers this year were at Mineral Springs Elementary and Middle, Winston-Salem Prep, Petrie, North Forsyth, Ashley Elementary, and Moore Elementary. The mobile unit has served Parkland, Carver High School, Haynes Magnet, West Forsyth High School, the Career Center, Cook Elementary, and Easton Elementary. And the 5 area behavioral health practitioners have provided services at Glenn High School, Clemens Middle, Ward, Philo Hill, Easton, Wiley, Moore, and North Forsyth. So you can see we have their services across several of our schools in the district. As far as the referrals, so this reporting period is from July 1st, 2023 to April 15th. For behavioral health and psychiatrist services, they have received referrals for students aged 3 to 22, 572 students, 3 employees. And for medical services, immunizations, sick visits, things of that nature, they had 1,445 referrals, and almost 450 of those referrals were seen on a repeated basis. As far as employees, 13 employees have taken advantage of the medical services. Some of that could have been COVID testing, sick visits, things of that nature. So for a grand total of 1,458 referrals for 1,909 encounters. If you have any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Board Member Kuhn.
I love this. I think it's great. technically marketing it to their individual schools? Do we market it as a district? How do we handle that? And how do we handle that? That's my first, I'll ask that first.
Marketing for employees or for students?
Both.
So for employees, we have met with HR and we've pushed out the information through HR on 2 or 3 occasions this year. We've kind of spread it out beginning of the year, middle of the year. And then as far as the schools, at the beginning of the year, we let the administrator of the school know that School Health Alliance has been assigned to their school. And then we also get with the Student Services Department to let them know School Health Alliance is assigned to you, this is the referral process, and this is the information to send out.
Okay, so that leads to my next question. How can we ensure that we are, where the sites are, that we are connecting those pieces? So if our administrators know, our student services know, how can we do a better job of connecting to both students and parents to let them know that this is available and what all is available and how the process works? Because I think there are probably people who could benefit, but maybe don't know either A, that it's there, or B, the process and how it works.
Absolutely. We can definitely, one of the first steps would be to be available at open house. And those schools that School Health Alliance will be supporting, someone from the SHA could be there to let that information be known. And we can also send out literature to those schools as well. Send it home to the parents and guardians to let them know what services are available. Thank you. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for all you do. Next, Dr. Fabi Williams, our Deputy Superintendent, will discuss the Restore, Reset, Restart program, which is also called R3, and the Pathway Promise update.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, Chair Kaplan, Vice Chair Mr. Bohannon, distinguished members of the board. With your permission, I'd like to ask a couple of our colleagues and staff to join us because they really have been leaders of this program. And so if you would, Mr. William Gray, who serves as our interim Director of Non-Traditional Programs, and also Ms. Angela McHam, who is the Director of our Non-Traditional Program. She's currently helping us with as an intern at one of our elementary schools. So we're really happy that she's here today. So I want to first start with our R3 program and just kind of give you a background, and I'll ask Mr. Gray to tell you a little bit about the data. So our students do make mistakes from time to time, and sometimes those mistakes result in suspension out of school. One of the things that as we thought about what we wanted to do with our kids was making sure that they weren't on the streets. When you suspend students and they have nowhere to go, they're going to end up in the streets or other places. So one of the things that this program really does is, in addition to providing a safe environment for them, they can also continue with their educational work. This program is housed with social workers, teachers, and mental health professionals who help these children with a lot of the challenges that they face. Another really important piece of this program is that it also provides food for the children. Again, a lot of our kids have real challenges and real struggles, right? And so when we're able to provide these opportunities for children, it makes a world of difference. And you guys approved for us to have this program. Some of you are really adamant about making sure that we provided transportation. And so the program did start in January. So you will see that the numbers aren't as large as they're going to be when you have a full year of implementation. But this is just within the first 6 months of implementation. So at this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Gray to talk a little bit about the current data, and then I'll get into our P2 program, which is the other program.
Hello, board. How are you? Ms. McManus, how are you? Thank you for having me. First and foremost, my name is William Gray. I started probably around March when Ms. McCam kind of transitioned into North Hill principal. And so, again, I'm going to give you some information basically on our stats and data that we've had. We've received about 380 referrals. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that they came through, but again, they were referred. 275 middle school referrals. We had 105 high school referrals. As you can see, our numbers for referrals by grade level, 6th grade, we had 83. 7th grade is 120. 8th grade, we had 72. 9th grade, 57. 10th grade, we had 23. And 11th grade, 21. And our 12th grade, we had 4. 89.9% of our parents have been interested in the program, and 11.1% of our parents have not been interested in the program. So the referral violations, the top 5 that we have here is physical aggression. We have unauthorized behavior, unauthorized substance, bully, harassment, bias, and theft. Next one. Student attendance. 236 students have attended R3 as of 5/1/24. Demographics of our students that have attended R3: African American male, 90, African American female, 77, Hispanic male, 35, Hispanic female, 21, white male, 21, white female, 1. Their numbers, instructional hours, are protected. 3,328.5 instructional hours have been protected by students attending the program, reducing the loss of instruction due to out-of-school suspensions. 68.2% of our students have utilized the bus transportation, and 31.8% of our students were car riders. All right, at this time now, we're going to have one of our community partners come up. Chris Chun, he's the Executive Director of Fulton Family YMCA with the Youth Development.
Good evening, Chair Kaplan, Vice Chair Bohannon, Superintendent McManus, and members of the board. Thank you for having me tonight to talk to you a little bit about our partnership with this program. We partner with Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools on many things, but to highlight this program, it's an honor to share with you guys the experience that we've had. So as Mr. Gray stated, I'm the Executive Director of YMCA Youth Development and the Fulton Family YMCA. So the R3 program is housed at the Fulton Family YMCA. The left wing of the building is reserved for Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. There are 2 classrooms and a multi-purpose room that is being utilized currently by Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. And just want to share the great experience that we've had as a partner with you guys. The kids, they're respectful. The staff are great. One of the highlights that we have seen recently is Mr. Gray worked with our team to engage the students more in activities and programs in the Y. So once our building closes at 1 o'clock, they basically have access to our walking track, our basketball courts, our fitness centers. We've even worked with some of our staff to give the opportunity for these students to learn how to play pickleball. Everybody knows that pickleball is an up-and-coming sport. And so, but the intergenerational component to that has been great. So to be able to see these kids come to the Y and have that experience, it's phenomenal. One thing that we also are looking forward to, and we'll be working with Monty and his team, is that at the end of the school year, students who did not get referred back to the R3 program, so once they left R3 and did not get a referral back to R3, the YMCA will be giving complimentary memberships to those students for a year. So it's been a great journey. We look forward to continued partnership with that program, hopefully, and just appreciate everything that you guys do for our kids. Thank you.
At this time, we'll have one of our students who participate in the program to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Shania. I'm here to share my experience at the Promise to Pathway program. When I first started the program, I was nervous, scared of a new environment, but my teachers and all my peers were very welcoming. My teachers and my peers were very welcoming. They all greeted me with a very comfort, and I felt hurt when I first came. I would come in, I would sign in what time I came at my scheduled time. I would come and I would talk to my teachers, and they would tell me about my lesson. They would talk to me also about personal things. Like, they wouldn't just talk to me about school things, or like I could talk to them like their family. Then I would have lunch at scheduled time, and then I would sign out whenever I was done. Everything is the same, just in a smaller setting, which is helpful for people who learn better that way. The smaller setting made me feel more comfortable, closer to my peers and teachers. I felt more seen. If I had a question, any staff member would help, no matter. If I needed something to talk about, they were there to listen and help. My teachers made sure to repeat everything until I understood completely. Having to work and come to the program after was easier due to the understanding staff, which is one thing I love the most. They are so willing to work with the students. As someone with anxiety, I would say the smaller classroom was helpful in every way. I wasn't thinking about what other students were thinking about me. My mind wasn't racing. I could focus. As someone who struggled with mental issues, so I stopped attending school, this program gave me another chance to graduate with my class of 2024. I'm so thankful for everyone in the program that has helped me progress to graduate, and that is why I think the program should be continued for future students.
So she's actually talking about our second program, which is the Pathway Promise program. And this program is geared towards helping students, as our student mentioned, to have a different path to graduation. I'll tell you another story, and then Monty will tell you about some numbers on some data. There was a student at one of our high schools, he and his brother, these are high school kids who had suffered from alcoholism. Believe it or not, high school students, because of the trauma that they went through in their lives. And we were able to connect the older student to the Pathway Promise, and that student is now one of the 6 who is scheduled to graduate on time with his cohort. So again, that makes a world of difference. So by this time, I'll ask Mr. Monty to tell you a little bit about the numbers for our Pathway program.
Okay, so our Pathway Promise program is a dropout prevention initiative for high school students who have experienced challenges in a traditional school setting. The goal is to remove barriers to graduation and enable the students to earn their high school diploma. Small class sizes, individual instruction, and personalized graduation plans are offered. So here's some data for you. 24 referrals have been received since January 29. 2024, 14 students have been served through the program. Demographics of the students who have attended our program: we have 3 African-American males, we have 5 African-American females, we have 2 Hispanic males, 2 Hispanic females, and then we have 1 multicultural female and 1 white male. These 6 students are projected to graduate in June 2024.
So moving forward, the plan for our programs is as follows. We do want to continue the collaboration with our partners. We model our R3 program with some of our larger school districts, Charlotte-Meck, Durham, and Guilford County. And basically, those districts have several sites, but they partner with community agencies. They partner with rec centers to offer sites strategically around their communities. Right now, this is, our program is in its infancy stage, so we only have 1 as a model. We hope to be able to expand that with your support over the next few years so that we can impact a lot of students. Some students may choose not to go because there is a long distance that they have to catch the bus and to ride to get to different areas. But if we're able to strategically place different programs in different areas of our community, we may be able to get more students involved. So at this time, I will take any questions, or our team will take any questions.
Vice Chair Bohannon.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. First, so I have down here 236 students attended, I think, yes, R3, but there were 380 referrals. Can you talk a little bit about the difference, the discrepancy between the referral and the attendee?
Yes, I can address that. So the referrals, the 360 are the number of referrals received from all the schools around the district. That number is much higher as of today. So when we pull the data as of May 1st, then that was the 360. So from the middle schools to high schools, as they are entering, students are having disciplinary issues and they are sending in the referrals to the center. That's what that number is. The 236 are actual students in attendance who have attended the program.
Right. I got the, I guess, what I'm asking is why does not everyone that's referred attend?
Oh, okay. For various reasons. So when a student is referred, the administrator offers the program to the parent. The parent can accept or the parent can deny. Parents can say due to transportation, because there is a process, it takes 2 days. If the referral comes in before noon, then the transportation is next day. If transportation comes in after, it generally takes 2 days for that stop to get processed. And so that does create a barrier. Also, the stops are not residential stops. It is like a satellite, more of a magnet stop scenario. So if you don't have transportation to get your student to the stop location, then most likely your student won't be able to attend. So there are various reasons. And some parents have said, no, I want my child to go ahead and have their out-of-school suspension because we explained that those days of attendance do convert over to in-school suspension. And some parents just say, no, my child has done the crime, they're going to do the time, and no, they're going to stay home with me.
Okay. And then the other question I had was around the demographics. Do you have, is there a way to get that in percentages? So I see you have the numbers of African American. Can we get that in percentages?
We can.
And then I'd be interested to see if that tracks, because obviously we've had several conversations over the previous years regarding the sort of disproportionalities.
Yes.
I'd love to see if that tracks with what we're seeing across the board relative to our discipline data. But that's a little bit more of a nuanced question, but I'd be interested to see that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Board Member Kuhn.
Oh, I got a question, but I can wait.
Okay. Are we good?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm hoping I'm remembering this correctly, and I'm hoping you can help me. Wasn't this federal money and we did not approve this?
When I'll jump in here. When we started, I'm trying to think last year, when we started, did we start with Title IV or was it at-risk dollars? It was at-risk dollars even but last year, so it's state at-risk dollars.
Okay, so it is still in that
Yes, it's
federal
still in the
pot of
same
money,
bucket.
So
It's-
that did not come before us for approval?
No.
Okay.
What? State, yes, it's state at-risk dollars, right? Yep, so it did,
Okay, it's
yes.
state at-risk
At-risk,
dollars, so it
mhm.
did not come, I just wanted to
It didn't come for a
clarify.
formal approval.
Okay.
Yep.
I wanted to clarify that because I thought it didn't, but I was making sure.
Yep.
Okay, and then one of my questions was asked. I'm curious why there seems to be more middle schools using it versus high schools. Do you want me to go ahead and ask them all and then you answer, or okay, or one at a time?
One at a time is good.
Okay.
So, schools have the direction that they should offer their services for our students. And so as to why there are more middle schools than high school, I don't have an answer for that. The expectation is that all schools will provide this opportunity for students, both middle and high. So we can certainly look into to find out why, but the non-negotiable expectation is that schools offer that. Now, it's a number of reasons why the numbers aren't as high as they should be, and we're going to continue to work with our schools to make sure that they do offer that. And our team tracks the data every day, so whenever a student is suspended, we actually get a list of those kids who were suspended, and then they call the schools to find out if referrals were made for the students.
Okay. And then I know that you said there was a total hours spent, instructional hours. I think that was on one of the slides. What are the total hours spent in the program? I think I would like to see total hours of instructional time versus total hours in the program, because I'd like to see how those differ. And then I'd like to know about, because that one you might not be able to answer now, so that one I know you might have to get back on. So yes, this is all on R3. And then I guess when it comes to like restorative practices and how are they transitioned back into their home school. So obviously they're working, I would assume, working on restorative practices while they're in R3. And then how is that transitioned back into their homeschool so that that is being followed up on or followed to ensure that the behavior that led to them being in R3 is not repeated?
So we have our EC teacher that basically does re-entry back to the schools. And basically what they do is they sit down with the student and kind of talk about the problems, the reason why they came to R3. And then after that, what they do is once they've got back to their school, we then go back and find out how they're doing, if they've changed their behavior, if it's improved, as it has not improved. And so we have a re-entry system that's in place with all of our students that come in.
But is it a formal process or is it just a check-in? Like, are there actual formal steps, like restorative steps, once they're back in their home school?
You want to add that?
That's a work in progress because we are still in the process of hiring the social worker and a behavior specialist because right now we are operating with three teachers. And so that's why it has landed kind of on the EC teacher and the administrator to do that piece. And so once that we're fully staffed and everybody is trained, then that piece will broaden. But like I said, we just started in January, so we do our restorative practices, we have group time, processing, goal setting, and things with students. But for it to be, it's not a formal process just now. We do have some administrators that are very supportive when we call and reach out to stop by and see how students are going. We've had some that will meet with us and the student and, you know, as a follow-up, but that is something that is still a work in progress. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it is a fluid process because it is not.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the honesty. And then last question, sorry. So the transportation process. So if they get it in before noon, they get transportation the next day. If it's afternoon, it can take up to 2 days. So does that extend their out-of-school suspension time, or does that just put them in their, so if it's a 5-day suspension, that puts them home for 2 days and then in R3 for 3 days?
Correct. Correct. We can't, you can't extend their suspension just because we don't have transportation.
Okay,
So
I just wanted
unfortunately-
to clarify.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I did want to add also that it's also the school's responsibility to make sure that when they suspend a student, that when the student returns to their home school, that they get some restorative conversations as well. So in addition to what R3 will continue to do and hopefully have a system of reentry, we still expect our schools, because they do get training on that, to provide some reentry restorative conversations as well.
Board Member Brown Gaither.
I have a few things. I like that you gave me the chart as far as the number of referrals by grade level, but I would like to see that same chart, actual attendance, because I want to compare. Sure. And I also would like to know the names of the schools and the numbers that they are referring and the ones that are attending, because I think that's important for us to look at the code of conduct and how it's kind of playing out.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, with the pathway promise. I know we initially talked about this, and I know, when we initially talked about this, I thought that program was going to be at not Kennedy, but at the Career Center. Is that where it is, or is now at?
Kingswood.
No, it's at Kingswood.
It's at Kingswood. Okay, so things have definitely changed since we talked about it. Because if I recall, as a board, we had actually said that we did not approve of it until we was fully staffed. So all of this is kind of coming forth, and we're like kind of trying to figure everything out. With that Pathway Promise program, looking at the data you gave us there, also the demographics who attended, I would like to see the ones who were actually referred compared to the ones who attended, and by schools too.
Okay.
Because I think it's important that we look at what schools are actually using this, because I think that's going to tell us a whole lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know that's something you can't give me tonight, but I just want to get that information.
Yeah.
Board Member Miller.
My first question was going to be the location for the Pathway Promise, but that's been answered. But I'd like to make two comments. I think you're providing a beautiful support for our students. I'm very impressed with that, and I was extremely impressed with the young lady, the student that came up to speak. So I just want to say kudos, good job.
Thank you.
Yes, Board Member Crowley.
Yes, of the 236 enrolled in R3, how many of those were repeaters?
I can't tell you of the 236, but looking at the data today, we have about 35 that have gone through that have repeated. But I don't know out of that 236 specifically.
Okay, okay, and then has there been any analysis of this program for a cost per student?
Yes.
Okay,
That-
if we could,
Yeah, so Board Member Brown Gaither asked for that, and so Dr. Williams sent it a little bit. We got the question about what, 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Do you remember off the top of your head? That's a big question. It's in the email. We can pull that up. What was it? About $600. So I think it was in the $600 range for R3, when you look at how many students have attended and how much the overall cost is. So a simple division problem was about $600 a kid. Is that what it says, the two of you that are looking it up? That's what I remember earlier today. 662.54. And thank you. And then P3, because it's fewer students, is about a $2,007 expense. Yep. Thank you for pulling that up, and thank you for those questions.
Yes, Vice Chair Bohannon.
So I just wanted to follow up on Board Member Kuhn's question regarding the process for how we're kind of ensuring the numbers. So Dr. Williams, you had mentioned that your team is sort of looking at the kind of suspensions of students, like week or however long when a student gets suspended. So explain to me what the accountability process looks like so we're not seeing the numbers. We have more students, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, we have more students technically enrolled in high school than middle school, but we're seeing we're seeing a lot more students being referred and attending than high school. So are the area superintendents kind of going to their principals and saying what's happening? What does that look like?
Correct. So the last, I think it was about maybe 3 weeks ago or so, we get data every week on suspension and from all of our schools. And so when I meet with the area superintendents, we review that data. And so they do go back to principals to find out why students aren't being referred. And so, yeah, there is a process, and there's going to be a lot of accountability and additional accountability, because it's our belief that there should be a direct correlation between the number of students suspended and referrals, not based on infractions, right? There are certain kids who, if it doesn't fall within the guidelines, they cannot come to R3. But for those kids who can, between I believe it's 3 to 5 violation of the student code of conduct, they should be referred. And so when that is not happening on a consistent basis, area superintendents will work with principals to make sure that that's happening.
Okay.
Board Member Watts.
So I just want to say commend Ms. McCam and Mr. Gray. When you're starting something almost from scratch, your dedication, your hours, and you all both are long-term employees, so you've got connections and relationships, and I know you're building those relationships, especially with our school administrators. So please, I know sometimes it may be you're difficult, but please move forward, because when that young lady spoke today about her graduating, that says a lot, that we're reaching our young people in a different way. And also our R3 schools, I know they can be a challenge with those students, but I know, Mr. Gray, Mr. Kim, you all have those great connections and relationships, so I think in time we'll continue to see more progress with R3.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, Board Member Wood, do you? Oh, okay. Next, Dr. Paula Wilkins, our Chief Academic Officer, will give us a Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools Summer Program Update.
Good evening, Board Chair Kaplan, Vice Chair Bohannon, members of the board, and Superintendent McManus. We provided a summer program update back in February, and so we're committed to give you ongoing updates along the way. Just as a few reminders around our goals: creating joy and opportunity for our students beyond the regular learning experience in school, reducing summer slide, targeting support for skills, and then helping to build some of our durable skills in our Winston-Salem Forsyth County portrait. We partnered with some external providers. You've heard of one today with the YMCA. that has also partnered with us for our C Summer Learning as well. We want to leverage some current funding and ensure both academic learning and enrichment opportunities for our students. For the program design, it's Monday through Thursday with an opportunity based on parent requests for Fridays for our students. And you'll see the times for elementary versus the middle school programs. It's a 4-week due to our condensed summer experience this summer. Enrichment activities, engaging lessons, and summer opportunities. So this is the visual schedule for our summer program. You will see the 4th of July week. It's a 4-day work week as well. And then sample schedules, which we provided before, just for you to get a picture of what we are providing to students and what that looks like per the grade spans. And of course, you've heard lots of updates around middle school and high school, CTE, exploratory options, and of course, field trips for our students. So you will see the numbers for enrollment per grade level for C, for K through 8th grade, and you will also see our dual immersion language program numbers, as well as our middle school separated out with a total of over 2,698 students enrolled for this summer. So if you look at our timeline, we've had lots of accomplishments that have been completed. As we were designing last year, we were not that far ahead. We're a lot further along this year. So our site administrators have already been hired, and they are working to communicate directly with our families. Our families have received transportation assignment information. Site assignments have already been allocated to teachers, and we also have a waiting list of subs to help us if teachers have emergency situations, aren't able to provide support as assigned or signed up. We also are working with our community partners for teachers that we're unable to serve throughout C to help them with employment for the summer as well. We have a series of trainings that are ahead, as well as all of our transportation trainings and CPR health assessments to help support in our teacher training coming up on June the 20th. You will also note that I mentioned transportation. Our summer meal sites have been finalized, and that has been communicated out as well. Our custodial, we have a schedule working with our operations team to ensure on-time building cleanings, and so buildings can be turned around for schools to open up with an early start and for staff to start on August 1st. Our before and after contracts have already been approved, and they have already been working with our families for services for the summer. Any questions on this summer update?
Yes.
It was just an overview.
Board Member Watts?
Yes.
And you may not be able to answer this question yet, but when you look at the different elementary schools, are most of the staff being hired from the individual schools, or is it a system-wide process?
So we used a series of data to invite staff based on prior performance and impact on student outcomes. So that was our first round of invitations, and we placed those staff first. Then we looked at staff who had a prior experience working with our C program, so it's all over, not just one location.
And the reason I'm asking that question, especially when we're dealing with field trips, since a lot of our students are new to the building, are new to the adults, please make sure we have everything in place that we possibly can to make sure that our students are safe, like maybe the first aid kit, the old-fashioned notebook with student names, emergency numbers, because again, we think we know the kids, but then this is a new environment for them as well as the staff. I just want us to make sure we're really prepared on the safety of our, especially during the field trips.
So we've worked with Katie Key in our nursing, both for our higher risk students around medical needs, but looking at universal needs. I know I just signed off on some ordering of some safety kits, so I know that's in the works, and the team has really been on it, and I just really want to say thank you. They've really worked hard to get everything in place very early. Other questions?
Okay, thank you. So next, if you could discuss the contract with Imagine Learning Edgenuity.
All right, I came back a year ago. We talked about our credit recovery program through Edgenuity, and so I want to provide an update based on some feedback from last year's update. So in thinking about credit recovery, we know that there are students who need a second opportunity. We heard it just now with our P3 program and R3 program, and the goal is to help our students be eligible to graduate. And so credit recovery serves yet another function to allow us to do that, as well as grade recovery. And in some situations, when classes aren't able to be scheduled, another opportunity to allow students to ensure graduation. So you asked for data, and so we wanted to provide some data around our graduation data from 2023 with the use of Edgenuity. So we had 1,155 students in 9 through 12 that took at least one course through Edgenuity. Of those students, 2,116 credit recovery courses were taken, and you'll see the number of that breakdown for each grade level. Of those students, 515 were 12th graders, and of those 515 12th graders, 501 graduated in 2023 as a result of being able to participate with Edgenuity. So just some information around thinking about, do our students need it? Absolutely. It's an opportunity to help our students to graduate. So when we look at our current completion for 23-24, we've had over 2,636 enrollments in the courses, with 62% of the students that have completed it successfully. Over 76% of those students that are enrolled have made continued progress with at least an 82% or better. It's been used for initial courses in some cases where we have about 35 student slots, and they have live teachers to support these students. And each school has just had various success, and we've provided some slide data separately to look at some additional data around our implementation and our success rates per school as well. So you asked us about the expectation and the support for teachers, and so this is a summary snapshot in looking at expectations of ensuring student success. So conferences are a part of that, both the parents and the students. Monitoring and reviewing students' data and communicating that progress if they're on track to completion, and supporting students with course maps to help ensure their success with guided notes is a part of that as well, and providing students with targeted goal completions with pacing and on-time completion. So this is just a snapshot of the services and supports that are expected with the staff that provide each student in schools support through Edgenuity. So you asked us who used Edgenuity in North Carolina. So the top larger 4 districts, and you'll see that on the next slide, 4 of those use Edgenuity. 11 out of 20 districts in North Carolina also use it. Cumberland has some of the strongest implementation with Edgenuity. They have a blended option as well as the credit bearing side as well. Wake County is going to expand it for 6-12 next year, moving into 24. New Hanover has also committed to a 3-year contract with the provider. These are all the total districts, and so you will see out of the large of the Big 12 in North Carolina, Cumberland, Winston-Salem, Forsyth, Charlotte, Meck, Wake are larger urbans, and you will see there are current districts in consideration to move to Edgenuity as well. You also asked us what else is out there besides Edgenuity. We explored 2 companies, Edmentum and Apex. What we found is that they had limited flexibility in what was offered already with Edgenuity, minimal references to support the successful operations and use in a larger district as well. So what our team used is leverage for that to get a better price with Edgenuity. And so you will see some total price savings in the contract with over about $23,000 savings to the district for using the program. So our recommendation is to continue with Edgenuity for 24-25. How can I support with questions?
Any questions? Board Member Kuhn?
Can you explain what the new initial course credit is? What courses, what schools? How's that working?
So those, I can give you an example of a course that was a part of that. I believe it was the North Carolina, the new financial literacy, I know was a part of that, because we had students who weren't able to get in the rhythm of courses to be able to graduate with the state requirement, and so they were able to use Edgenuity for some of those slots. So in situations where we've had a student, for whatever scheduling reason, they can't make the course in their schedule, maybe they have career center classes or something else, we use those slots to give them the initial credit they need to ensure they graduate with that course.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Dr. Wilkins, will you also discuss the Discovery Ed contract?
Last go round, promise. So Discovery Education is a service provider that we use for textbooks. And so I just want to differentiate as we open the conversation that Discovery Education, we call them tech books because they are digital textbooks. So we use the digital textbooks through Discovery Education for our dual language programs, which are done completely in another language. And so you can imagine being able to have resources in a full language are hard to come by. And so Discovery Ed provides that for our middle school programs that are dual language in Spanish at those 2 sites in science and social studies. And for all elementary schools, they provide the science tech book. It is our science core resource for science instruction. We also have used it previously for math assessment resources, and we also used it for STEM Connect, education, coding, math, and social studies as well. What we did this year, as we looked at resources, needs, what could we cut, we've cut everything except for the dual language program and the science tech book as a recommendation moving into 24-25. So you will notice that Discovery Ed helps to support student achievement and educator success, looking at opportunities to accelerate learning and growth for students through providing standards-aligned resources, scaling teacher impact and confidence. We say this reduces teacher time, looking for resources, aligning to the curriculum. The instructional leads have made it easier by pushing those out into our UPOs so teachers know how to easily locate them as well. We look at motivation and engagement as well. There are videos, there are high engaging texts that are used through the Discovery Ed resources, and looking at those future ready skills and connections to careers to provide support for our students. There are more than 200,000 resources, and you see this, they have channels that students can leverage as well as teachers. It's primarily a teacher source, but it's also available as resource supports for our students as well. Instructional resources, audio resources, etc. So you see a snapshot here of some of the solutions that are provided. And by the way, Discovery Ed, Dreambox, other companies have merged together, so it has expanded some of the opportunities and resources that are provided for our system as well. And you'll see a snapshot of these. These are all the partners that are content partners with Discovery Education so that they have a pool of resources to be able to keep that high level of engagement for both staff and students as you think about digital resources. You will notice that there are classroom companions for each teacher and student to elevate the learning, empowering the daily teaching, and just providing a one-stop shop for educators to have grab-and-go lessons aligned to the curriculum, again, standards-based. We do push out and give recommendations, but beyond that, there are also additional tools that teachers are able to leverage as well. So if you look at the data snapshot, and you have some additional information as well in the data overview that was provided, but we provide educators with support to utilize the tool. We don't say just go forth and do. We want to ensure that they're empowered to know what is available, what's best practice in usage. And so these are the sessions that have been provided for support for our teachers this year in all of these areas to leverage these resources in a very appropriate and supportive way. And if you look at the data, of course, the science tech book is the #1 resource that's utilized, and you will see why. It is the primary instructional tool used for our science program. You will see as an engagement snapshot, you'll see some of the top 5 schools and their utilization, all 86 schools, and I think that also includes virtual and some other support areas for schools that they count as a school as well. 21,900 students that have used it, and over 2,000 educators that have utilized the resource. Of course, our lowest usage is in high school, but again, for high school, only math assessments were used. That's why the recommendation to eliminate that moving into 24-25. And you'll see the list of all the engagement with the different resources leveraged by Discovery Ed. The channels, Science Channel being number one, used along with Educator Support's Magic School Bus is at the top. Who knew? That's still around, but it's still a worthy instructional resource and tool. And then you see the top 10 interactive tools, Water Cycle being a top, ecosystems, all the things that we know are aligned to the curriculum. And then these were activities that have been used and created by teachers, over 3,000, and then activities used and created by students, over 11,000. So that's a snapshot with Discovery Ed, and our recommendation is that we approve the contract for 24-25.
Board Member Miller.
Yes, and this is not a question, but this is just my personal experience as an educator at the elementary level and the high school level. I utilized Discovery Ed for many, many years. It's a very high level, high quality product. It's rigorous, it's engaging, and it's fun. The kids love it. So I'll just say that is everything Dr. Wilkins has said and more. It really is high quality.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I've got a quick question.
Yes. Board Member Brown Gaither.
When I looked at you gave us a chart about the number of usage, the students and all of that. And I just want to know, where is the central office coming from? Because it had the most teachers, or I guess that's what it said, by administration.
It must be how they have tied a login to central office. We can look at that. But that's the only thing that I can assume.
Yeah,
They've
'cause
taken a login and tied it to central office. We'll check it out.
Because I would think like a Velvet Simonton for math. Everybody who
Oh, she
logged in,
uses
it would
it.
go into hers.
It could, but I don't
Okay.
think all of them. It could be Kevin, it could be how people are routed. We'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Because it's all tied to regular user logins and work locations. So we'll check it out. Thank you.
Any other? Oh, yes, Board Member Watts.
Since we're no longer using this for mathematics, what are the resources we're using for mathematics?
So Savvis for high school, Envisions Math for middle school. So there are core instructional resources for every area, and so we looked at that. And we also have some assessment supports for those areas, so we're able to decrease that. Now, we will have to have a high level of, teacher communication in the small places that some were already leveraging it, because it'll be a shift and a change.
Sure. Thank you.
Other questions?
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much. Our last discussion item, Thomas Krantz, our Chief Financial Officer, will discuss the supplemental funds for pre-K teacher compensation.
Good evening, and I'll be quick. As you may recall, we received a supplement of about $5.2 million. It was restricted per the state rules to certified teachers. The pre-K teachers were not included in that. We asked, and we advised, we would look for funding for that to see if we could add them. We've since found funds within the local fund. It totals approximately $130,000, and I'm asking your approval to proceed with that. And they will get basically the same dollar amount that the other teachers received.
Any questions?
It's not a question.
Board Member Kuhn?
This is not a question. It's just a statement. I just want to say thank you. Our pre-K certified folks are deserving of this. And I just wanted to state that we haven't forgot our classified employees. We have asked for additional funding through the county commission. So it's not that we're forgetting anybody. This is just in reaction to the low wealth supplement, and we're just trying to match pre-K certified since they were left out by the state.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you very
Thanks.
much. So we're moving on to action items. So first is consider approval of the supplemental local funds for pre-K teacher compensation. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
So I have a motion by Board Member Miller, a second by Board Member Crowley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you, that is unanimous. Next, consider approval of Chartwell's food service management contract addendum briefed at the May 14th, 2024 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
So I have a motion by Board Member Kuhn, a second by Board Member Barr. Any discussion?
Just a quick question.
Okay.
This is a extension of the current contract, is that correct? Yes, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on questions? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 8-1. Next, consider approval of the food service management contract addendum briefed at the May 14th, 2024 Building and Grounds Committee meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So a motion by Board Member Kuhn, a second by Board Member Brown Gaither. Any discussion?
Yeah,
Is this
what
the
is
same
this?
thing as the B?
It's,
What would
Well,
the difference
could
be?
we-
It's,
Yeah.
one is,
Do we need to just not pass it?
Food service management contract is the Chartwell's food service management contract.
Okay, so,
Duplication.
so if we just vote it down, that'll be fine. Okay,
it's,
Yeah.
okay,
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 all right.
sorry about that.
The other one, yes.
thank you.
Okay. Next, consider,
No, we
Okay.
haven't voted.
Wait, we've gotta
We gotta vote.
okay. Do I have a motion?
It
Wait,
was
you
al-
already
it
have
was
a
already
second.
motion.
Okay, motion second. All right, all in favor? What? Opposed? Okay, we're voting it.
We got to vote it down.
We're voting it down.
Okay. Did it matter? Didn't on the agenda.
Okay,
Okay.
it was a duplication. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, consider, okay, where we go? Okay, consider approval of the West Forsyth High School auxiliary gym floors briefed at the May 14th, 2024 Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting. Do I have a motion? Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a motion by Board Member Barr, a second by Board Member Kuhn. Any discussion?
Yes, did
yes.
we,
Okay.
did we ever get a definitive kind of, Board Member Crowley, I know that you had raised some questions. Did we ever get like a definitive?
No.
Oh.
No, and that my questions center around what are the standards for high schools? We have a couple high schools that have 2 gyms with hardwood floors, and then we have this, we're not addressing the equity issue with facilities if we're putting in multi-purpose floors in gyms that are being used for basketball practice. And, you know, we've heard all the arguments for multi-purpose floors, and that's great. Put them in multi-purpose rooms. But if you're putting floors in gyms that you're expecting teams to practice on, they should be practicing on what they're going to compete on, and that's hardwood floors. So I don't understand why we did this for 4 high schools previously, and now we're talking about doing it for another high school. It's perpetuating the inequity in our facilities.
Any other? Okay, yes.
sorry.
Lauren?
So John Sullivan put out a survey to the high school ADs to seek feedback and to ask students for the use of the floors because there were some concerns about slippage and things of that nature. There were 12 responses to that survey. They're predominantly from 2 schools, and so he was trying to get more of a response to have a more well-rounded answer, and it was kind of mixed all over the place. And a lot of the responses were from 9th graders. Of the 12, I think it was 10 9th graders and 2 upperclassmen. And so he was trying to get more information. For the wood floors, that the schools that have 2 wood floors, that was something that was done several years ago. And so as we look at new and improved technology and systems and cost over time, that decision was made to kind of convert that second gym to that auxiliary style floor where the gyms previously had the tile flooring in those gyms because they are not competition. And so when staff sat down and looked at the longevity and the life and the year-over-year maintenance of the gym floors for sanding and refurbishing, and you look at that cost, we would need to add another $100,000 to that line item if we were to move to that standard for all schools. And so while I do hear the equity argument, in time, we would not want to take a wood floor away from a school, but we are trying to move to a different standard of that auxiliary floor.
Right, but the equity argument continues when you can, if you have 2 competition floors, you can hold clinics and camps and tournaments, and that's revenue for those schools that the other schools can't generate because they don't have the facility to do it. So, you know, and again, look who gets the short end of the stick usually in these facilities. I've had 2 daughters play basketball in high school. I've had 2 sons play basketball in high school. I can promise you that the girls get scheduled on the alternative floor, not the competition floor, more than the boys do. That's just a fact. So I think it's unfair. I think it's a Title IX issue. And I think it's worth the money to spend to have good facilities for our students.
Yeah. I wish we'd have that data to give you this evening, and I apologize that staff didn't have that for you.
But what do
So-
we do about the 4 that we
Could I
did?
have a question?
Yes,
So
Vice
just
Chair
for
Bohannon.
the concerns that have been brought up, Madam Superintendent, could we get, because the practice issue is a big one for me, could we get some commitment from you that you'll try to address the inequity of the scheduling of the practices? Because I think that's been a long-standing issue, and I think it should be, that's something I
Yes.
think that can be addressed simply by you just
Yep.
like
Well-
communicating that expectation and then holding people
Yeah.
accountable.
Yep.
Relative to the floors themselves, so there are other teams besides basketball teams that practice in the extra places, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so in fall, you have volleyball, and then you have basketball that practices all year, but you also have baseball and softball that now have an indoor space in which they can do some things when they're in their off-season.
Which is more difficult with hardwood?
Yes. You would not want them doing some of the things on hardwoods.
Okay.
But volleyball also competes on hardwoods,
They do.
correct? Yeah.
Yes, they compete on hardwoods.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments?
I don't know who's.
Okay, so we've had a motion, we've had a second, we've heard discussion. All in favor? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion fails. Next, consider approval of the document camera purchase from Technology Bond funds that were briefed at the May 14th, 2024 Building and Grounds Committee meeting. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a motion by Board Member Brown Gaither, a second by Board Member Watts. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, consider approval of the revisions to policy 5131.6 drugs and alcohol briefed at the April 16th, 2024 and May 14th, 2024 policy committee meetings. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion by Board Member Kuhn, a second by Board Member Crowley. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. That is unanimous. Next, consider the approval of the newly created naloxone policy briefed at the May 14th, 2023 policy committee. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So a motion by Board Member Miller, a second by Board Member Crowley. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you. That passes unanimously. Next, consider approval of the newly created emergency epinephrine auto, which is briefed at the May 14th, 2024 policy committee meeting. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
So I have a motion by Board Member Crowley, a second by Board Member Miller. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you. That is unanimous. Next, consider approval of the Crosby Scholars contract briefed at the May 14th, 2024 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
So I have a motion by Board Member Crowley, a second by Board Member.
Excuse me, Board Captain Chairman?
Yes.
I would like to recuse myself from this vote due to the
Yes.
fact that I've worked with Crosby Scholars.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So we have a motion by Board Member Crowley, a second by Board Member Miller. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Motion passes with one recusal. Next, consider approval of the purchase of the Paxton Patterson College and Career Ready Labs briefed at the May 14th, 2024 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? So I have a motion by Board Member Kuhn, a second by Board Member Barr. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you, that is unanimous. Next, consider approval of the alternative accountability model briefed at the May 14th, 2024 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second? So I have a motion by Board Member Crowley, a second by Board Member Watts. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, thank you. That is unanimous.
No.
Oh, excuse me. Opposed. I'm sorry. Motion passes 8-1. Apologize. Next, consider approval of the contract for Reagan High School chiller replacement briefed at the November 14th, 2023 Building and Grounds Committee.
Board Chair, point of privilege, may we ask that we consider taking items L through R as one action item?
Yes, so that is your motion. Do I have a second? Okay, so I have a motion by Board Member Watts to go from line item, motion L through R, which is 7 action items. And I have a second by Vice Chair Bohannon. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of those 7? Thank you. That is unanimous. So our next order of business is our superintendent's update.
Thank you. Thank you. So I know earlier we did a moment of silence, but I wanted to, again, thank you to all those who have sacrificed their lives to protect our freedoms and their loved ones who have also sacrificed for our country. Next, we are heavy into testing week, the next 2 weeks. And so our students, this is their time to shine and to show what they know, as we saw in that video earlier. We'll start to get results that will not be announced publicly, but I'm excited to start seeing how our kiddos are doing soon. Moving on. Summer and back to school dates. Paula mentioned the summer school dates, but putting those back out there, June 24th to July 18th, our summer program. Want to keep mentioning this. First day back for teachers, August 1st. First day back for students, August 12th. We just need to keep messaging that. Make sure, we've been sending messages out about bus stops. So we need all of our families to make sure they have submitted their bus stops for next year so that we can have a smooth first day of school. We started graduations last week with early college and middle college. And thank you, board members. I know that you all will be at all of those. I know Board Member Watts was the keynote at both of those graduation ceremonies, and Board Member, oh my goodness, Miller. All of a sudden, I forgot. For 1 second, I forgot your last name. Board Member Miller, Susan Miller, was there representing the board. So on the next slide, you'll see again the schedule. And look forward to seeing all of our board members at these many different graduations. We proceed with Carter on June 6th, Glenn the 7th, and then we've got 2 full days on June 8th and 9th. And so we are so excited to see all of our seniors walk across the stage this year. And thank you. We're not at the end of the school year, but this is kind of our last meeting when students are in session. And we started the year with talking about our 60th year. And so we are still celebrating our 60th year. And thanks to all of our staff, students, and families for shining bright like diamonds as we celebrate the 60th year of our school district.
Thank you. Our next order of business is our consent agenda. We have 3 items. First, consider approval of the general personnel report. Next, consider approval of the April 16th, 2024 Board of Education meeting minutes. Next, consider approval of the April 30th, 2024 Board of Education meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve all 3 consent agenda items? I think we it's Superintendent, are we doing A, the personnel report? I think so. I think we are. Yes. Yeah, we are.
Yes,
Okay.
personnel report, yes.
Okay, great. All right, any other questions? Okay, so once again, a motion? Okay, and a second
Second.
to consider all 3 consent agenda items. Okay, so we have a motion by Vice Chair Bohannon, a second by Board Member Kuhn. Any further questions? All in favor? Thank you. That is unanimous. So Tuesday, June 11th will be our next regular meeting of the Board of Education. And before we begin our items where people can have public comment, let me say good evening to our Cable 2 viewers. Thank you for watching. This will conclude our broadcast.
Thank you for joining us on your school channel, Cable 2.